concept behind this particular SIEM solution and why this particular Sentinel is more famous in present era, right? So let's, without wasting the time or a delay, we'll go ahead with a basic understanding of our organization, right? So once again, I welcome you all to this particular session. So SIEM Intelligence is one of the topmost and leading blue team and SIEM training provider company, which offers wide range of courses and training with respect to cybersecurity and information security domains. We are one of the fast growing online security domain training provider company based out of India. We deal with various kinds of SIEMs and SOC related trainings. We also provide certifications of various, with respect to industry compliance like ISO, GDPR, HIPAA, and high-tech alike, right? So we have a highly skilled InfoSec trainers, which having accreditations of various cybersecurity domains as well as the expertise and the experience more than 10 plus years in a very deep into various domains. So the people we are having something like, we are having great experienced people with respect to our specific domains like security operations domain, identity and access management domain, and security engineering and architecture domain. And you can take it something like cryptology. We have a specialized trainers with respect to this area. And SIEM Intelligence is considered to be a most trusted and reliable training providers with respect to cybersecurity as well as information security. We provide an unmatched exception, practical, you can say, training to the each individuals as well as corporate across the globe, right? Our goal is to train, mentor, and support your career into the field of cybersecurity. Great. So this is a small intro about our organization. It is one of the most beautiful and I can say one of the trustworthy training provider company, right? So since till now I just expressed about the organization. I'm just giving my intro. So I am Vishnu Chandapatla, and I will be the course instructor for this particular Microsoft Sentinel. So I have 17 plus experience exclusively in information technology, and 15 plus experience we can consider to be in exclusively information security field, right? And I was into various security, you can say, security profiles. Like I was a network operation centers manager, and I was a SecOps manager. Like I was a IBM Curador expert, and presently I am dealing with a chief security analyst post in data center management for you can say Azure, and you can say Azure activity as well as Exchange Reporter Plus activities, right? So this is a small intro. I am a triple master. I am presently pursuing my you can say doctorate from University of Madras. I put up my papers with respect to incident management as well as cybersecurity domain, right? So I worked as a network and system administrator for more than 5 years at one location, where I understood about the various architectures, that you can say legacy architecture. Then followed by I have worked as a CERT India passive coordinator, that is considered to be a cybersecurity coordinator for more than 2 years. And I moved on to NOC, that is Network Operations Centers of Government Agency, that is NIC Mail, where I worked as a log analyst for network and flow, you can consider to be a flow of various network devices. Thereafter, I become a SIEM pioneer. I started exclusively into SIEM, and I have worked with the various SIEM solutions like Splunk, Curador, Wazoo, and Sentinel. And presently, even I successfully completed my Chronicle 2. I am also an evaluator for various SIEM solutions like NetWitness as well as HPE. You can consider to be logarithm. I was into Alien Vault OTX kind of Sentinel platform, as well as another like you can say Expose Exchange, and you can consider to be Mandiant Threat Intelligence fields too. And presently I'm working as a Chief Operations Manager for a data center management unit, and I have more than 4+ years exclusively into this particular training sessions. I was into IBM Curada trainings. I was into Splunk trainings. Later, I moved into cloud security platform, and I started taking cloud security solutions. Like I'm a Microsoft, you can consider to be Azure Defender earlier. Now presently it's considered to be Microsoft Defender Solutions, that is XDR. And I am also SC200 expert, and I completed my certifications like AZ500 and SC200, and I am also you can consider to be a certified Sentinel professional. I have various certifications like I am a CISA from ISACA and CISM from ISACA, right? So this is a small introduction about me, and let's move on to our course of action, what we are going to learn in our sessions, right? So our course is CSD, that is Certified Azure Sentinel Defender, where we are going to deal with Microsoft Sentinel native cloud SIEM. Now, what is actually a cloud SIEM and how it is different from you can consider to be a on-premises SIEM solution? Why it is very famous? Why it is very famous? Due to after pandemic effect, people are start work from home, and people are just moving from on-premises solutions to cloud solutions. Like people are very eager to play with Azure, right? People are just play with something like Azure as well as AWS kind of solutions, right? With GCP, that is Google Cloud Platforms. So, and there are DigitalOcean kind of platforms. So over the period of time, we come to know that there is a necessity. So Microsoft decided to set up a first cloud native SIEM solutions. Earlier, AWS has given on-premises solution as a cloud solution. Like I can say Sentinel as a cloud solution, Curada as a cloud solution, but there is some you can consider there are some limitations towards integrations of on-premises solutions as well as cloud internal solutions. To overcome that, this particular Microsoft Sentinel become a first native cloud SIEM solution provider, and it start providing Microsoft Sentinel as a cloud SIEM solution. Now, why Sentinel is very famous? Because there is something known as Chronicle is also there. You can consider, right? This is nowadays we also start understanding there are some few more SIEM solution. But why Microsoft is very famous? Why we consider to be Microsoft is one of the most successful product? Because 70% of our globe is actually depending on Microsoft based products. Like you are using Windows 11, you are using Windows servers, you are using on you can say email solutions like OneDrive solutions, email solutions like Outlook. So we are more depending on Microsoft solution, and the compatibility with this particular services, like you are using Active Directory. So the compatibility with other SIEM solutions is somewhat lesser compared to Microsoft, and the cloud is giving a very beautiful compatibility compared to other solutions. That's how Sentinel become very famous, and the easiness plays a vital role, because the integrations and the mergers, like data connect merger is very easy in Sentinel, right? So that's how people start adopting Microsoft Sentinel solution in the corporate world. So in our area, we are going to understand various modules. Like we are going to handle this particular Microsoft Sentinel in 11 modules, where we start from introduction to Microsoft Sentinel, what is actually a Microsoft Sentinel, how we can consider to be a good product with respect to other on-premises solution, right? And what is the principle behind, what is the platform, what are the pillars of this particular Microsoft Sentinel that we are going to cover, right? Then later, the key the key behind this particular Microsoft Sentinel is all about Custo query language, right? So we'll go and understand what is Custo query language actually, because it's most important that if you go and start understanding something like SIEM, right? What is actually a SIEM? You take various, you take consider one device, you take another device. There are a lot many things. Consider there are some you can consider to be like, like this is your on premises. Consider this is your on premises. Consider this is your cloud solution, or you can consider cloud services. Consider this is something like your applications. Consider to be it's a SaaS. You may have some IaaS platform here, right? Now integrating of these solutions into one area, right? You are collecting all the logs at one location. That is considered to be a log analytics workspace, we also known as log. Now we are collecting all logs from, let's say, this particular area, from this particular area, and from this particular area. Three different type of logs. Even we are going to understand what are the various logs we have, what is the formats and all, those things that we are going to understand very deeply, don't worry. So how this particular Sentinel, let's say this is Sentinel application. Consider this is Sentinel application. How this Sentinel application pass these logs? Because we are getting all the logs into this area as a dump, or we can consider to be it is under a database DB. Now we need to read the DB, we need to identify, because if you see, if you start understanding something, let's say this DB consists of 1 million logs. Let's say there is a 1 million logs, which is very huge. It's very difficult to handle in a one go, right? You can't read all 1 million logs. Let's say in a day it's giving something like 1 million logs per day. Is it possible to read all the logs? It's not possible, right? We have so many tables from various, you can consider various log sources, so you are getting various tables. So each data, here you can consider, let's say if it is a Windows machine. So this logs comes as a one table, like Microsoft security logs. Like there is a AD. AD gives you something like 5 different tables, like sign-in logs, security logs, domain logs, DNS logs, like there are different types of. So we will going to understand what is the meaning of one service, one data connector, and what is the, from where we can come to know how many tables it can perform, it can create. All those things that we are going to learn in this particular session. Now we are going to integrate more than 10 plus solutions. So you can come to know what is this particular Sentinel and how to create this particular Sentinel services in your Azure platform. Now the question comes first. Now people start asking so many questions like, sir, I don't know what is Azure. There are some people, right? I cannot claim that each individual knows Azure or a cloud platform. People might be very effective in their on-premises SIEM solution. Like I know so many people, those who are very good at, let's say, Curador, Splunk, they never see cloud platform. So it's very difficult for them to set up the Sentinel, right? No worries. We are going to first understand basic Azure for first 5 days. So I will tell you people how to set up your Azure platform, Microsoft Defender platform, and what, first of all you will create Azure portal, then Defender portal, and I will explain the basic concept of Azure, like Azure AD, we also known as Entra ID. The present name is called is Entra ID. Earlier it used to consider to be AAD, that is Azure AD. We will come to know how to create a resource group, how to create a resource in that particular thing, how to give a, that is, IAM, identity and access management. So providing resources and the resource permissions to the each individual people that we are going to learn, because it is the most important step that you have to know, because this creates also some logs known as Azure activity. This is create some logs called as Azure activity logs that we are going to analyze in your Sentinel SIEM, right? So again, you see why I am creating those things, because I want logs to make sure that you should get various logs from various areas. I said, right, we will integrate 10 plus log sources. So one of the log sources is Azure and Azure activity. Another log is Entra ID. So these are the first cloud logs which we are going to integrate with your Sentinel, which will generate huge amount of logs. Later, of course, as I tell, just now as I told, we are going to integrate the most important logs, that is called Defender logs. Now question comes, what is Defender? What is Microsoft Defender? There are lot many names to this particular Defender. People earlier called it as Defender for cloud, Defender for this, Defender for that, Defender for office solution, Defender for endpoint. So there is a huge ruckus. People get frustrated with the different names, right? I come to know, I really, even the present era also, just this particular present scenario, even I used to get confused because of these many change in the product name. The first product was something like, Azure Defender. Yeah. So you consider to be Defender for server, Defender for IoT. See, the present names was something like changed. Earlier we considered to be Azure Defender. Then they say change it as Microsoft 365 O365 Defender. Right? Then they change it as Microsoft Advanced ATP, Advanced Threat Processor. This is a Microsoft O365 ATP. Then they change it as a Microsoft Defender. Then they change it as Microsoft Defender XDR. Now the present name is called XDR. So we will learn what is the difference between all these, how you can correlate. I will give you a good explanation on this because it's a very huge area. We will go and understand what is first Defender and how to set up your E5 license, and that is Microsoft Enterprise Security Defender Solutions E5. This is one package name called E5, Microsoft Security Solution, that is a Defender security for endpoint protection. We are also known as Microsoft Defender for endpoint, Microsoft Defender for application, Microsoft Defender for cloud apps, Microsoft Defender for IoT, Microsoft Purview, that is Defender Purview. There are lot many different various products are there. We are going to understand, because see, on premises we know, right, there are some topics. I'll take a good example. People can correlate that, right? So we know we have, let's say, I'll take another slide, right? Right. So we have a firewall, right? We have a firewall, right? We have a EDR on premises. You take a firewall, EDR, antivirus, right? We have what? IPS, we have IDS, we have UTM. In on premises, we used to listen these things, right? Similar to this, we have EDR, like we have XDR in Defender XDR. We are also known as Microsoft Defender for endpoint. These two are very same over here. IPS we consider to be Microsoft Defender for cloud. These two are very same. UTM we consider to be a Microsoft Defender for servers and IoT. Like firewall, we have again is a part and parcel of these things only. Cloud apps, like, the Microsoft Defender for Office, Defender for Office product, like you have various Office solutions, right? Like, all this Word presentation and all, then you take some Teams and all those comes under your OneDrive. This comes under your Office solution, O365. So we need to know all this and how to configure this, because you are going to play with these logs, because once you start creating your own cloud, I mean, for you are going to manage your, let's say, there are some few organization who already 99% they migrated to on-premises. So they activated these services. Now these logs will come to where? These logs will come to SIEM. Now what is that SIEM? Sentinel. Yes or no? At last these all logs will come to Sentinel for the correlation purpose. Right? So we are going to learn all these in that particular area only, right? So just I'm giving a basic introduction what is actually Sentinel and how it can work it out. Okay. So let's move on to the actual activity. So to manage all this, we need to handle a KQL. So now how we need to handle a KQL, that we are going to see as a small introduction. Like, so this is consider a Azure platform. Here I have a search bar where I'm going to search for Microsoft Sentinel. Already I have searched, so there is a recent history. Just I click on this. I got the first area called Microsoft Sentinel, which I have created for previous session people, right? So when I click over here, I got various, Sentinel training lab and Sentinel, weekend Sentinel. These are the various, you can say, databases on which my logs are coming, right? So select one of it. Let's say I'm selecting this. So I am now jumping into the Sentinel application of, let's say, this Sentinel Law workspace. See, this is a workspace for Sentinel Law. So I have some logs over here. See, there's a 2K log since last 24 hours, right? Since last 24 hours, there are 2K logs. You can see, and there's a common logs, and suddenly there's a huge amount of logs are there. So we will see what was that, and we even come to know various, you can see there is something called incident. Is there any incidents? We can come to know. Then let me go. I'll go back to last 30 days so that you will find some incidents. See, there are some incidents you found. So you are going to learn what are these incidents, how we can handle this incident, and all that we are going to handle. So basically, Sentinel has 4 different tabs. One is called General, Threat Management, Content Management, and Settings. That the broader picture that you can see: General, Threat Management, Content Management, and Configuration. That is also known as Settings. So we are going one by one, and there are so many other tabs. You can see. Let's say I'm going to search for some KQL query. So just I'll go here and search for some KQL query. Let's say I have some. Let's say I'll go and identify some table. I'll take a very good example of sign-in logs, because it is a common logs that we can see, because every day we used to handle this kind of stuff. Let's say I'm just putting some query where, let's say, user principal name or user display name or principal name contains, let's say, Vishnu. So I want to go for last, let's say I can search from here, let's say last 7 days. If I click, I'll get some result on the bottom. See. Now you can see here, these all are related to various activities, right? Now I want to only know what are my app display names, right? Where I have actually done my activities. So what I'll do, I'll simply, you can say, you can consider to be a aggregate. Okay. I'll do something like summarize, count by, let's say, app display name. You can see. So there is a column called app display name, right? I'm just summarizing. I will explain how to do. So what is the meaning of KQL and all? Just I'm giving a small query. So now if you run this particular query, you are getting a beautiful result over here. Like, so I did multiple login in Azure portal 8 times, my profile that 1 time, Office 365 1 times, Office 365 portal 3 times, and SharePoint in 1 time. That I come to know for Vishnu. Like for any organizations, we are going to handle all these things. So this is giving a good result, right? I can create a chart also for this. Simply render, let's say, pie chart. I'll get a pie chart. How simple it is. And I come to know that how many times Vishnu got logged in out of all these things, what is his present area. Like I can create and I can share this, I can export it, I can print to somewhere in the dashboard, I can send it to my workbook. There are so many workbooks. Now we are going to understand actually what is workbook. Right? Existing workbook. I have so many workbooks. Let's say CQA. I have one workbook called okay. Let's say I hope over here it is there. I need to know there is actually I need to understand the resource ID. I think this is the one, but I'm sure I know this is because I had it. I have done multiple times, so I know this is the one. So you can see the workbook is ready. See Vishnu SOC SOC, and I made it a one portal. See. Right. So this will help us to host it on my data wall. So I have so many content over here. Now I will come to know how to create this and all. So the workbook plays a vital role to display your content, and it will automatically refresh off it. Let's say every 5 minutes you can apply it. So every 5 minutes this data will be refreshed, and this data will give you. So this is an example database, so you don't worry. Once when we are going to set up, I'll set up a very beautiful content of that data, this particular workbook. This is just an example for our session. Okay, so we can create a workbook. Now what is a workbook? Workbook is a place where you can set up your dashboard. You can consider of a dashboard. You can place it for providing for a data well solutions, where it will go for every refresh and give the latest activity of important things, right? So you can create a workbook, and how to create and all that we will come to know in the session. Don't worry. Okay. Then later, again, we are going to learn the most important area. Of course, as I said, there is a session of 1 minute. So we are going to understand how to use the Sentinel and all. Then introduction to collection of logs. So there are so many area. If you see here, if you come down, there is something called data connectors. You can see here, there are hundreds of, see there I have integrated 21 connectors. Out of that, some data is connected. I mean, presently out of these many connectors, 5 connectors still it is throwing the logs. See, these many connectors are still throwing the logs. See, you can see here. So rest I have integrated for the sake of for the test and trial purpose, and I have shown to the people. But you can see these many things are already there. See, so these many things I have integrated, and out of that 5 still throwing the logs. This is a trial session, right? So how to create and how to identify your connectors in the content hub, and how to install these. So all those things, see from where you can identify, from the content hub you can identify, and you can install, and you can manage from here. See, I can open from the connector page, the content will come, and I can say these many logs will be added. So we can see here, right? So all these we are going to learn at least 10 plus connectors. 10 plus connectors is a small example. It may go up to 15 also according to the situation, right? We are going to learn how to integrate. See, now it's giving a very beautiful, area of these things, right? Right. So then followed by, now the question comes, we are getting the logs. It's not mean that we are just understood everything. No, we need to create incidents. Now what is incident? Incident is something like true positive on the basis of your suspicious activity. Now how you will identify the suspicious activity? The question comes, what is a suspicious activity? Now something like, the suspicious activity, which is an abnormal activity in your organization, which is actually not to be happened, right? So those things we are going to understand over here. Now what is that? You are getting 10 lakhs of logs. Out of that, I am identifying some suspicious logs by using parsing, by using processing of the logs, by using correlation. Now the word called correlation. What is this correlation? So correlation is something like, identifying suspicious net from the logs which you have on the basis of three important things. One is on the basis of simple solution, that is simple statement. If event ID is so and so, let's say 7563, this is not to be, actually this is an illegal activity. I know if someone is coming with this particular event ID, that considered to be a offense activity. If someone is coming with a knife, I consider to be a suspicious activity. That's it. The first condition is simple. I am stating. Now the question is something called creeper rule. Creeper rule. Now, number of times, if someone is coming, in a one time there is no issue. 2 times there is no issue. But if there is number of times, let's say 5 times in, let's say, 10 minutes. So this is known as creeper rule. There is something known as complex rules. There is something called complex rule. Complex rule. Now, it was happened. Now, complex is something like something was come up with some ID and then he's coming with this. So first he come up with, let's say, a pen. Then later he come up with, let's say, cap. Then later he come up with, let's say, a knife. Okay. These three combinations is not actually a good combination. Let's say, consider. So this is what to identify something called complex analysis. So we are going to understand what is meant by simple, creeper and complex. So how we can create by using analytics. Now what is analytics that we are going to understand? Now what is analytics? Analytics is a process of understanding various logs. Out of that, you can say, you can take something like, there is something called analytics. You can write rules in your, by using KQL. By default, there are some templates, you can use that. And of course, Microsoft Sentinel is giving various important templates. By default, these are already there. And there are something known as fusion rules, okay? There is something known as, we can consider there are 3 different type of rules over here. One is known as schedule rule. There is something known as NRT rules, near real time rules. The third one is something called fusion rule. So we will come to know all 3 status. So first of all, the types, simple, creeper and complex, and anomaly rules are what? Schedule rule, NRT rules and fusion rules that we are going to understand in this particular session. Okay. So you can see here, right? This is an example, and there is something called creative. You can see schedule quality, NRT quality. We can consider to be an incident creation rule, and also we are known as anomaly. This is known as a fusion rule. Okay, this is what fusion rules that we are going to understand how to create and all. Okay, from here. Then later we can create what is meant by watch list. See, when you have some doubt, right? Let's say there are some people you have a doubt. You put on a small eye, right? You put an eye on them to identify what is their activity. So you can put a watch list so that you can compare the values and identify, okay, this particular activities, I felt these people are some suspicious, but I am not sure. So I am putting in a watch list. Now there is a dynamic watch list creation. There is a static watch list creation. There is a upload capability. There is a bulk upload capability. There is a modification capability. All those things in the watch list that we are going to handle in this particular session. Now what is meant by watch list and all that we are going to address in this particular Sentinel, right? Then there is something called the good activity, something called threat intelligence. The beautiful option in this particular Sentinel is something called threat intelligence. You can integrate threat feeds, like you have a OTX, like you have a expo section, like you have a MISP. Those things that you can integrate over here. Because of because of various activities, okay, on the open threat intel platform, paid threat, like even Microsoft is giving the paid threat intel activity in lakhs of course, but still you can connect it from OTX. That is possible. See, I'm getting hundreds of threat intel feeds. Like I have two threat intel feed. One is you know source is something like OTX, then is something called Pulse Dive. These are the open threat intel platforms. So I integrated, I got some logs. See, alien what pulse name, it is giving some values in the name of files. If I want to see the Pulse Dive logs or your Pulse Dive feeds, you can see. And this will give you an alert with respect to your logs. It will identify, see is there, if it is identify this particular value in your logs, it will give a threat intel alert directly. So these are some important things that you can integrate, which will give you a next level identification, or you can say threat intel alert. Now how to create and all that we are going to see. You can create manually feed, you can add it manually the indicator, or this will, you can tag it, or you can import from a file, imports and TA solutions. There is some TA solution integrations are available. You can use, right? You can create and you can use this. So, but this is not that very, it's costly. So I'm not using this. So, but I have some open solutions, so I'm using those things, right? So then later, there's the feature called SOAR. Now the question comes SOAR. So we started understanding, let's say we have hunting capabilities. We have hunting capabilities too. So we can do something known as sentinel hunts, or you can say threat hunting. So you can create a new hunt and you can do a hypothesis on your organization. You can do and you can put some feeds into it and identify what kind of output it is getting and all that. You can do. You can create an incident on the basis of hunting, and you can manage that hunt, and finally you can identify and create that analytical rule for that particular hunt. That we are going to create a new hunting, and followed by we'll create some incident, and it will create some rule, and finally we will create that rule into your this particular analytics. See, Jupyter notebooks are different, okay? Jupyter notebooks are, see, notebooks are something like, it's a kind of, you can consider to be, let's say, I'm just creating a notebook from here, let's say, okay? Hmm. Okay, actually, I'm not created anything else, so that's why it is asking me this. Okay, I'll do later, no worry. So basically, here this give you something like, what is basically what is a notebook? What is a notebook? Subrat, where we can write notes, right? Similar to this, this is you can write a hunting hypothesis over here. Whatever that hypothesis that you can write it, like you can see this is an example that I can show you. Open in a new tab. See, so you can write like this, okay? So which will you can use by method. 1 minute. Yeah, sorry, just my very came, so that's why. So basically, this particular notebooks that we used to, you can consider to be add all your notes into here, but we can dynamically add whatever we do. It will automatically add into this. that we will learn, don't worry, in this particular area. Right now I have not created, so that's why it is not showing, but don't worry, okay. I'll show you how to do entire process of approach towards this, okay. But this will really help us while doing the hunting. We can add it, we can collaborate your hunting process into your notebook, so that it will give you a good process of approach over here. Basically it will automatically add it into your notebooks as and when it is executed a new era, like you can say I can say the first stage of my term. I went for a resource hunting. So it's added as a resource hunt, then followed by, let's say it's a probable brute force attack understanding. So if I add it in such a area, so it automatically go and add it over there. Okay. So we will see that what is mean by notebooks and all that we will see. Okay. And even with respect to automation, there's a good option is something like, we have an automation, because Sentinel is not only a cloud native SIEM, it is also a automated responding area. That is, it can also do SOAR activity. Now for every analytics that you can write a automated triggering rule, like you can quarantine, you can disable user, you can reset users, and you can put a firewall on according to you have the capability, right? You can write a playbook by using playbook editor, and you can write your own you can do by using playbook editor capability, that you can go with it and you can create your own playbooks. Okay, you can enable incident, auto creation of incident, increasing the gravity of an incident. Like it was a higher, and automatically after triggering this, it will go into the, let's say it will automatically assign to, let's say there are 5 people, it will automatically assign one by one. Let's say if there are 5 incident come, it will start from, let's say, Vishnu, then followed by Subrat, then followed by John, then followed by, let's say, Rohan. So you can give an allotment of process. So this will automatically, let's say there is exclusively AD related faults. Let's say there is a related to enter ID, then it will only exclusively hand it to Subrat. So you can simply create a playbook. It's a basic playbook. This I'm not talking about a very big playbook. This is a, you can directly create it by using a visual methods. And there is another process is known as playbook automation editor. By using the playbook automation editor or playbook editor also, you can create a dynamic playbook where you can put and you can call some API and you can update your watch list, such a kind of thing that is possible by using an automation, right? We will see how to set up a playbook, what are the different capabilities of playbook, right? Now all this related to Sentinel management, though we are still handling an incident. Now what is an incident? Now what is an incident? How we need to handle? So that we are going to understand again in the incident area. So in the incident, let's say this is an incident. If I click over here, let's say full details. Now I will do entity enrichment from here. Right, there is something called activity log. If I want to see the activity of this log, I can just click over here. Okay, this is again. If I go and see entity, let's say if I want to know the timeline of this, see the timeline of this particular thing, I can come to know the overview of this. So when it was happened, how it was happened, incident action, what you can do. You can create a run playbook. Sorry. See, I can run a playbook. I can create an automated rule and an next rule. I can create a team and make it something like, assigned to them. So you can do all these things, right? Presently it's unassigned. I can assign to these many people. Like there's a present new status. I'll make it into active and closed. And I can change the severity. So by using automation also I can do by, by according to the rule process, I can do manually also. And you can see the activity logs. How many logs that it had come up, right? See these many logs, when it was happened, how it was happened, right? And there's something called investigate. You can see the investigation method. See, so how the investigation was happened, how this particular thing has happened. So you can check the timeline of each individual things, right? the information of each individual, right? Right now there is nothing, like you can see the entities. What are the entities? You can click, you can see. Then this, then alert in the alert, and what was the bookmark area. So everything that you can come to know here. So how the process of approach was happened, right? So you can do all these things. You can delete, close. You can check the all the logs from here, and you can check the activity log, of course. Then task. What you can do, you can add your task. What you have done so far. You can add a task. Like you can give your reviews on that. How to do these things to manage this incident, because there are a lot many people. You can assign to various people at a different level, right? You can do all these things over here. So how to do all these activities that we are going to understand, starting from creation of, as soon as you create an incident, how to enrich the properties, what are the properties that you got, how you can identify various activities, what are your entities, and how you can compare with your threat intel, right? All these things that you can come to know in this particular area. See, there are 6 events, 6 alert, and how many bookmarks. So everything that we are going to understand. Okay, there is again older version, the new version. This is an older version, right? You can also see the similar incident related to this. You can see any similar incident earlier that was happened, that you can see. You can close it. You can close it. Simply reason. You can consider something called suspicious but not expected. That's it. It's closed. Action. You can do whatever you want. That's it. If you want to delete, finally you can delete. But people generally don't delete. But you can see everything that is possible over here. Like we are going to play with all these things. Other than this, I can say this is an example. Like I said, collecting of logs, detecting incident, introduction to detection suspect activity in the Sentinel. We will play with KQL, right? Introduction to managing of investigation of incident, automation with incidents, additional features of Sentinel, like what is meant by Azure security management, and how to handling of security operations in Azure, right? What is the feature, advanced features of Azure Sentinel, right? Then best practices. So in each area, when we start talking about each area, first we'll talk about introduction and security of SIEM, what is SIEM and all that we are going to understand, of course. And KQL, most important is something called most used operators, like what is mean by where, extend, MV expand, project. These are some basic important operators that we are going to understand. Multi-table statement, like you are using, how to using a union, and what is meant joining, left join, right join, and all that we are going to deal with your KQL. There's the advanced KQL and string data, that is creation of your basic understanding of your strings, like you can create rendering of various things like time series data and all that we are going to use by using KQL, right? Then dashboard and workspace, as I said, custom queries and alerts that we are going to create, investing of incident, and responding to by using automated playbooks. So this is a process of how you can use that we are going to understand. So log, what is log analytics workspace? How many log analytics workspace that you can create? How to collect logs? How is the meaning of connector? What is the Sentinel workbook that we have already discussed, right? Now analytical rules, how to detect a suspicious activity, generating of incident by using analytic rules that we are going to create. We will create at least 10 plus rules so that you can understand what are the various important rules that you have. And how to incident life cycle management, the most important, how to start your incident, how to close your incident. During the incident management, how to deal with your incident management people, like what is the source and what is the scope of who is the victim and who is the witness, how we are going to manage between these two, right? And how to identify your evidences, right? So managing threat hunting, already discussed, and starting working with the Sentinel for responding. Why automation is? So the concept of SOAR coming to the picture. What is mean by logic app? That's how we are going to create your playbook by using the logic app. As I said, Azure automation playbook by using a logic app. You will create what is playbook, implementation of automation in your Sentinel, various basic things like we are going to create a watch list. We are going to install. I'm going to start up with a UEBA. Okay. So in the UEBA, we are going to understand the at least 5 different various parts of UEBA. That is, what is a entity, user entity behavior analysis, and how it can compare with your Microsoft identity protection. That is the most important, right? Defender for identity, how the logs will compare UEBA, and what can be the UEBA rules that you can create separately, right? And as I said, introduction to notebook, how while doing the threat hunting, how you can create and manipulate your notebooks, right? And there is something called Azure security policies, configure of Azure security policies, and security center, and working with security center, the basic important thing to get the logs of your Azure security activities. Then advanced features like threat hunting, MITRE attack framework, that I have to tell the most important part of this particular session. MITRE attack is a place where you can identify what is your though it is a present preview in condition, but this plays a vital role. What is actually a MITRE attack framework? How you can identify your various activities over here, and what is your scope of, you can easily identify here what is your scope, where you are lagging in your organization. So when you see there's a credential access related, there are 5 different type of analytic rules are there, whereas there is no rule for forced authentication. Right? So this is, you can come to know, right? You can come to know the weakest area. These are weakest areas, right? So this is something, according to the activity of MITRE framework, you can come to know where you are lagging, how much third process with respect to various stages of your attack, MITRE attack, so that you can come to know here, right? So that we are going to understand easily, and we can identify, okay, we are weak at, let's say, lateral movement. So is there really a requirement of lateral movement analysis rules are required? We will identify, and we will use this particular weakest area into the threat hunting and identify that activity, right? Then what else you can consider to be right. The best practices. Now the question comes, you can create a Sentinel queries normally as well as advanced queries. Sometimes some queries are takes process consumed. You can consider to be, when you create a Sentinel query, it consumes a lot of processes. Now how to overcome that and all that we are going to understand. What is the monitoring and maintaining cost of the Sentinel? Troubleshooting common issues like if logs are not coming from, let's say, some lesser respect to data connector, how we are going to handle. What if the law is getting, let's say, hanged? So in such a case, what we need to do? So we are going to understand all, and what is the meaning of price per basic logs and the price per dynamic logs. Now, what is the difference between basic log and dynamic log, that we will come to know in our sessions. Okay. So these are the 11 different modules. Okay. And along with this, as I said, I will going to integrate the solutions like Azure Security Center, Defender services, on-premises, one Windows machine, Linux machine, and identity features, AD server, and you can consider to be Azure activity services, Microsoft Defender for endpoint. We will integrate all. We will generate some attacks, simulations, which will give you such a kind. And prior to that, I forget to tell you people, I will set up a training lab. Like, so in this particular Microsoft, we have an option called a training lab. See, I have a training lab. See, Actually, I have not integrated anything. If you see the data connectors, I have not created any data connector. There's zero data connectors, right? But if you see, still zero data connector means it should be zero logs, right? Because I have not integrated anything. Once I have not integrated anything, how should I get logs? But if you see in the logs, you can check. See, there are some custom logs. If at the end, I created something like if I run, see, next, let's say I'll go for a last 7 days. You can see there are some logs. Okay, let me check. I think it is a custom, so I'll go with a, let's say, I might have run this particular training. So from where these logs come into the picture? This is what the training lab for the practice purpose. If you see, there are some incidents already available. See, there are 3 incidents. There is a SORA network beacon, malicious inbox rule, sign in from IP that is not signed in disabled for disabled accounts. If there is no log, how these incidents have created? So that is what the training lab, which we are going to create, how to do the things and all. It's from the marketplace. We have a marketplace, Azure marketplace. From there, we will identify this particular training line. We will ingest this into this particular area so that you can see you have some logs. Now you have some logs you can practice. You have some incidents you can practice. You have some notebooks you have practice. You have some workbooks you can practice. You can add one more workbook how to see there is a network insights already created. I have not created anything. Actually, this is a training lab. Right now there is no logs. So why should how I create this particular Microsoft workbook? I mean this particular Sentinel workbook. Similarly, you can see analytics. There is a new analytics was already created. I have not. Once I don't have logs, how will I create an analytics? I can push. See, these many analytics are already enabled. You can see there are 4 rules I have already enabled. How it has happened? So that is how. See, you can see it is simply matching your. So we will see all these, like see the same one, right? Sign in IP is that sign in from to a disabled account. Solari get network beacon, malicious inbox rule custom. So the same thing was triggered over here. The same incident was triggered. But how? That is how the training lab that you can create. You can create. So I will tell you how to set up your training lab by own. You can create your own lab, that I will tell you how to do that. Okay. This is a cloud activity, and even I will tell you the process of integration. Further, you may require or later once the people join the sessions, right? We will integrate the people together. Let's say there are 5 people. Let's say there are 5. Let's say manage it with you because you required either a debit card or a credit card for that. Okay. Of course, Rajshekhar, one of our team member is asking, can any non-technical guy take this course? I can say very well, a non-technical guy can also take this course because I am starting these things from the very basics to the extensive. And there is a person, his name is Ravindra Bist, is asking, will you help us for a certification? See, of course, these particular certifications is something like SC 200 part. So I can say, if you follow my session perfectly, you don't require any more, you don't require any more these things, right? A special certificate, but of course we will give you some important things. Okay, like I will give you a good repository of questions and all that. Whatever I have, I will share it with you people. No worries. Okay, and how many different log sources? Okay, here we consider, instead of log sources, we consider the data sources, or we consider the data connectors, right? Just now I told, right? For the previous session people, I have integrated something like 21. You can see, 1 minute, Dilip. Well, I'll come back to you. Okay. So I have integrated 21. Anand, please be in the session. Okay? For the previous people, I have integrated around 21, but out of that, around 10 or 12 were connected successfully because of the limitations. On an average, I can integrate 10, no doubt on it, because it's again limitation of integrations and resources, right? But I'll go with at least 10 integrations, successful integrations. The latter, you can integrate so many according to the availability. Okay. So most of the time, I'll go with that. Okay. Yeah. So, along with this, yeah, Dilip Rawat, very good evening. Sorry to make you wait. Please, you can ask the question now.
Good evening, sir.
Good
My
evening.
question is that what will be practice for practical? How will do practical? Like,
We will do
is there any
everything in
lab or will
practical.
get access of lab or
See, that's how our session starts, right? So now this is what your lab environment only. Now whatever I am doing, this is a lab. Now to set up this lab, I will tell you how to set up this lab actually. Okay. For that you required a debit card or a credit card, or this particular training lab is free for 1 month if you have a credit card. If you don't have a credit card, nobody. If you have a debit card, then also it will work for debit card. How to activate a free practice session for the practice session? How to create and all that, this particular lab and all that I will tell you. Don't worry. During the session itself, we will enable the. I will show you by using someone's credit card or a debit card. I will tell the people to process that area so that people get start working on it, and even they come to know how to enable this particular lab. Okay. Even I will set up the cloud platform for each individual. Those who are interested, they can do it for themselves. Otherwise, people can club together. So what I'll once the people join, right? We will tell the people to I'll make a buddy system so that you can utilize, because if you use yours as well as others in a one go, the people can utilize only for 1 month. If it is a buddy system, then the people use the same one lab for 2 people, and it will go something like, or 3 people, it will be something like for 2 or 3 months you can extend. Okay.
okay?
Yeah. 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 Wale was asking how much is the training and duration. Okay, the training duration is all about 35 working hours, that we can consider to be 35 hours of session, entire sessions of 35 hours. So it will take exclusively 35 hours, and thereafter, yeah, uh, right. So during this particular 35 hours, we are going to cover each and every part of our Sentinel session. Okay, and this will be really help us. And I do take these sessions every weekdays from 8 to 9 p.m. every day, which will start from 22nd of this month, and I mean from Monday onwards, the sessions will start, and it will be very very precise and Wale, could you please contact about the fee structure and all along to our organization HR team, right? You can query to the people, okay? It's common, like you might have already seen in the SIEM Intelligence course, I mean web page, the price and all that have been already mentioned there, and Yeah, so there are some few queries by the people. Okay, I will start asking about. I'll start clarifying that. Is there any queries by any other people? Like, is there any direct queries that people wants to know, or else I will query. Okay. Yeah. How many CP hours are given for this training program? Babu is asking the same query. Yeah. Okay. The CPE or something like we are giving CPE credits of 35. Okay, I think 30 or 35 for this particular program, right? So that you will get after completion of this particular session, right? So CPE credits are something. Yeah, Sanket is asking, are you going to introduce all data connectors and integration techniques? Of course, whatever I said, right? I said I'm going to introduce more than 21 different data connectors. Out of that, at least 10 data connectors we are going to see a real-time integrations. Okay. Wale is asking me, can you please help me to set up my own lab free for 1 year to practice? 1 year to practice is almost like impossible. 1 month of the thing is possible, of course, for anyone. If you have multiple credit cards, of course, Wale, you can go with a 1 year also. If you have a credit card or a debit card continuous, you can go with this. Yeah, it will be something like, $140 or $150, something like, it's considered to be something like 8K per the session, right? Bhagyasri, don't worry about that particular fee. You contact the team. They will briefly explain you what is the fee structure and how we are. No, I forget to tell. So the sessions are for all weekdays from Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Right? And start dating is something like 22nd of this particular month, 22nd of April. From Monday onward, the sessions will start. Okay. And the second part is something like we will provide you the trainings, training records and the documentations, a precise documentation and you can say a proper recordings will be given to you people. Once as soon as they complete the session, we will upload the recordings to the the workspace that will be easily available to you people to access, and that will be very easy for to revise revision of your sessions. Okay. Please contact our organization, HR team. So regarding weekend class and all. Okay. Vignesh Keshwan, would you like to understand how depth we go into threat hunting and EEBA parts? Yes, as I said, in threat hunting, I'm going to cover how the threat hunter process works, and I will take a one threat hunting process. I will explain exactly how the threat hunter process goes. And UEBA, as I said, we will going to cover 5+ rules, how UEBA can works, and how to enable UEBA and all that we will going to see in this particular sessions. Okay. Any more queries, guys? I hope people have a perfect and clear. Wale, in this regard, you please contact. See, I do take various trainings, of course, with respect to Azure. I do go with SC100, SZ500, so and SC200 too, and there are SC900 kind of basic trainings too. But the question is something like you can contact our HR team so that you can come to know various courses regarding architect and all. Okay, we do provide all the courses with respect to Azure and basically Microsoft cloud services. Okay. So guys, I hope you people have a very clear picture towards how the plan of sessions will be there, right? So I'm very eager to you people to start up with this particular session. Even I'm very eager to start up the sessions and start with a very good understanding and good explanation of things. Okay. Anyway, it's a great session, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, Rajshekhar is related to SE200 only, and SE200 consists of a major part of Microsoft Azure, I mean Defender, and less part of Sentinel. But in a real time picture, you when you start working, right, the Sentinel is the most of the part is something like Sentinel, and the very less part is something like Defender. So this is how the problem start for SE200. So you can consider this is a 50-50 game. So in the SE200, people start with a very deep understanding of Defender services, how different Defender services starts and how to set up and all, right. But here we are more focused towards creation of SIEM, SOAR, and how deep we are going to handle something like incident management, right? Okay, guys, it's really a great honor me to start the sessions like this, and I hope you people join the session. You will enjoy each and every part of our class, because I'm going to take a deeper understanding of the Sentinel. Starts from you can go with how the law starts, how the Azure portal starts, how the Defender portal starts. We'll start at that level. Okay, we'll start with how the portal starts, right. Once the portal starts, then how we are going to set up our law, that is our DB. You can consider the kind of a DB database. Then how your Sentinel setup happens. Now how what is mean by Azure log analytics, how the KQL starts, how you're going to integrate your logs, and once the integration is happened, how the logs can be correlate. Now how the relation rules could be created. Once the rules is created, then how you can use those into your workbooks and incidents, and from there how to do and what is the possibility of your hunting capabilities, how to set up your entity behavior, threat intelligence, each and everything, how to incorporate into your Sentinel. That's we are going to cover in this particular sessions, right. So this place really, this Sentinel is one of the very beautiful solution, which is very flexible and gives you very beautiful options. So we will go into very deep and understand these things, right? So thank you so much, guys. It's a very beautiful session with all you people. I'm really looking forward towards your session. And I think one of our previous people is already there. There's a Plain Kumar Buller. He's already had the session. I hope he's already there. And again, he's joined the session. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you so much, Prem, to join the session. So it's really a good day, guys, and join the session. We will really enjoy this particular session. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Have a nice, you can consider to be, it's not a weekend. However, I think most of the people might be today off, I think, because of Ram Navami and all. And I wish you, all good success on this activity, right? Thank you so much, guys. It's really a good thing. Please join the sessions. And finally, this is our people's, mail IDs and all. You can contact us, even WhatsApp us on 7737131337. And also we keep on throwing into our, chat box. Please, if you have any queries, please contact our management team and HR team, and you can get in touch with through WhatsApp and bot. There's a chat bot is there in our SIEM Intelligence site also. You can contact us. It's really a good day. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Signing off.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you, Sanjay. It's a great honor.